specifically, the reason I'm asking if you can hurry up and just put them here in the chat, because I also know Khalid had a deal he wanted our input on, and I thought that maybe while we have Jason here, we could use his skills and maybe help Khalid with a quick evaluation. Okay.
I'm down. I'm down for it.
Super.
Khalid, I can stay on after too. It just doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. And so Andrea asked if what you think about park-owned homes and whether you, if this is the community that you keep, do you intend on selling them off as quickly as possible, or you're okay keeping as them as rentals?
So every business model has proven to work along the lines of your questioning. I don't think there's one right way or one wrong way. And Nick and I's lives, we just want to rent the dirt and spend our time focusing on making sure it is in fact an affordable, clean, safe community to live in, instead of fixing sinks and you know, unclogging 3,000 wipes from a toilet. So we, and for the reasons I mentioned before, renters tend to rent and owners tend to own, and having a sense of ownership only makes your community better. So it depends on the market, right? You look at some of these in Colorado or Los Angeles, and with the park on home model, they're at like 14 or $1,600. That's okay. In the Midwest, I'd probably sell the homes off as quick as I could if I could. 21st Mortgage has a 10 grand minimum to get financed. If not, then it's kind of a deal or no deal, Cat, with the resident, and do what you can to get them the home, in my opinion, and get the title out of my name.
And do you sell finance?
So
homes.
Yeah, so we kind of stopped doing that during COVID, only because we were burnt so many times. During COVID was different, right? Hey, Google, turn on office lights. During COVID, people would say, well, I'll get you this and get you that then. And then the day comes around and it's like, man, how many times is everybody gonna lie to us? So like agreements, repayment agreements, and contract for deeds, they just tend to not always work out the way you want them to, or the resident ends up abandoning the home anyways. So we want to make sure that they're serious about buying. So we do our best to kind of vet that they are in fact, you know, interested in becoming a permanent community resident.
Okay, thank you. So guys, at this point, I would like to just ask Khalid to get on the mic here. Khalid, again, you don't have to share the address for the park. If you can just share the highlights, maybe starting with just with economy overview and the other details of the deal that we normally like to see, so we can help you. And let's go into quick eval and provide you with the feedback.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate this because I'm kind of lost to, you know, this is something new to me.
We'll find you, no worries.
So just straight to this deal. It's a 10 lots mobile home park, a small one, and the homes are 1970s and 1980s, 3 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. All the homes are park owned homes.
Okay.
Hey, Khalid.
Yes.
Can I stop you for 1 second? I'm just going to ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
And this will kind of help get you in the mindset on how to potentially evaluate deals in the future. How many total lots are available at this park, with or without homes?
10 of them.
10 total. How many of those 10 lots have homes on them?
10.
And how many of those 10 homes are occupied?
10 of them.
So we have 0 vacant homes and 0 vacant lots, right?
Yes, but there's space for us that doesn't have electricity. There's space that doesn't have electricity posts. And I asked the seller today if that space has septic, and he said yes. I can't confirm if it does, so I can't take his word for it.
So my question would be, would that be the 11th lot then? So are there 11 lots?
I think that space is going to take up to 3 homes, 3 more homes.
So we're looking at 13 total lots?
Yeah, I think so.
Are there concrete paths or runners in place on the vacant 3 lots that we're looking at?
No.
So they would have to be developed. How many of those 10 homes are owned by the tenant?
Everything is owned by the park.
And you said, what's the current lot rent?
So he collects 450, 330 to 400 from the tenants there. So
Is that for lot rent, or is that for lot rent and home rent?
Yeah, lot rent and home rent.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know when the last time they raised their rent was?
I didn't ask him.
And you said the average age of the homes were what?
1970s to 1980.
And have you gathered any like initial docs from them, like a trailing 12 or anything like that?
So this guy collects rents physically, like he goes there according to him to collect rents from his tenants. So there is no document that I can ask from him. I don't know if you can suggest something I can even ask. But according to him, he said he collects his lot rent. I mean his rents with his hands. He goes there every month to collect his rent.
So basically he's telling you that he doesn't have super solid records. Is that correct?
Yes. And in fact, I checked online to see what he pays for tax. And this guy hasn't paid tax for the past 2 years.
All right, let's do an initial evaluation here. And then if you, I think there's some things we could talk about offline that might be helpful to you. So you can reach out to me and I'll gladly throw you an assist on that one. Because what we really have to do is determine what the market lot rent is for homes in that market. So we need to call all the parks, 6 or 7 of them in a 20-mile radius, and figure out what they're charging for lot rent if they own the home, what they're charging for park owned home rent if they have to pay for park owned home and lot. At $365 for their home and their lot, this is just an isolated property, not in a super huge metro. You got really lucky. It's the mom and pop who just haven't raised rents ever. It sounds like this owner's pretty detached from the deal.
Yes.
So, without knowing the infrastructure of those lots, let's call it 10 lots, 10 homes, 10 occupied, 10 park-owned homes, 1970s homes. If we're going to separate the personal property on those, I mean, they're not worth much, maybe $30K, $3,000 a pop. It's kind of where I would start. But other than that, I think everybody else knows the formula. So we would just take 10 homes times, we don't really know what the lot rent is. So let's just use 250 and call it 165 on the home rent. Their utility situation, do you know if they're private or public utilities?
So the water is um city water, and then it uses septic.
And on the city water, is that billed back or is that billed directly to the tenants?
I didn't ask, but because according to him, he said the only expenses he makes in the park is for the street light and for trash. That's the only expenses that comes back to him.
So based off of what he's saying, then we would assume at this moment that the tenants are direct billed. For anybody that's currently an operator and you're going off the 60-40 expense ratio or the 70-30 expense ratio formula from the boot camp, it's always going to be closer to that 60% number, especially if you have older homes or it's a smaller property. And water, it could eat away your entire everything. Like that's the most dangerous thing. You have to figure out who's paying for the water. What's the infrastructure like? Has that guy replaced any of the water lines? When was it built? What are the pipes made of? Because that stuff's going to come up eventually. It's better to talk about it now than 45 days in, and then you got to